What are you doing here? Working.
So they tried to make an ER reboot and they were like, no. So instead they were like, all right, well, we'll just blatantly, openly be unoriginal and steal your shit anyway.
Are you okay?
Why wouldn't I be?
As if they wouldn't notice the similarity to ER. What's to notice? The Pitt is ER, the lawsuit states. It's not like ER, it's not kind of ER. Even casting is no longer original. So the guy made famous by ER plays a doctor 30 years later. And it's not an ER show, but it happens to be set in an ER? Is this their way of convincing us it's not a reboot? And if it's not a reboot, why use the guy from ER? Yay, can't wait to talk about the Pitt today. No, we don't normally talk about medical dramas on this channel, but I couldn't help myself on this one. After barely surviving 2024, the only thing worse than the real world was the list of sequels and reboots and prequels and remakes. And if you think I'm overreacting about the Pitt, just ask the estate of Michael Crichton. But yeah, unoriginality has gone so far, even the estate of the man who wrote Jurassic Park is pushing back. As if they wouldn't notice the similarity to ER. What's to notice? So this is from Variety. The Crichton estate, this is the best part. The Crichton estate sued in August, accusing executive producer John Wells of a, quote, personal betrayal, claiming that he and star Noah Wyle came up with the Pitt after the Crichton estate blocked their plans to reboot ER. This is from the lawsuit. The Pitt is ER, the lawsuit states. It's not like ER, it's not kind of ER. I love how that's in a lawsuit. Like somewhere in a real lawsuit in the American justice system, these things are written.
That's awesome!
Unoriginality and reboots and sequels have gotten to the point where people are being sued, and it's written in a proper legal document, and it somehow gets worse. Beside the glaringly obvious casting issues here, John Wells was one of the showrunners of ER. This is more from the lawsuit. The Pitt is ER with the exact same executive producer, writer, star, production companies, studio, and network as the planned ER reboot. I personally began my own passive boycott of all sequels and remakes beginning in August. So the final straw for me was Twisters plural, and then Deadpool and Wolverine. That I was done after that. In fact, I even canceled my AMC Stubs membership, where you can go to the movies twice a week, every week, for like $25 a month. Solid deal if you want to go to the movies every week. But deal or no deal, what is the point of going to the movies 8 times a month if 7 out of the 8 movies are all movies I've seen before? So we'll get to the Pitt in just a minute, but equal to the Pitt in cinema form is this fucking Mufasa movie. Oh my god. A prequel to a live-action remake. Like, how many more things removed from the original can you get? The origin of Scar? Maybe. They even have those Disney villain comics. Scar has his own series. I see it in the comic shop every week. I wouldn't go see it, but at least it's understandable. That's an interesting story. A villain origin story. The brother of the king. Overlooked, right? That's a Succession story. All kinds of fun palace intrigue you could do with that. I mean, you know who's always wondered about Mufasa's origins, on the other hand? Literally no one. Not a single person on this planet has ever pondered the origin of the original Lion King himself. You know why? Because it's fundamentally uninteresting. And speaking of fundamentally uninteresting, we've arrived at the Pitt. Yay! Which only gets worse the further you descend. Had to do at least one Pitt pun. Again, not only is this series openly unoriginal in its casting of Noah Wyle as its star, it's the same fucking showrunner as ER. And not only is it all the same people involved as we listed before in the lawsuit, Wells and Wyle also had the balls to proceed making it, all of which was after being rejected in making a straight up ER reboot. So they tried to make an ER reboot and they were like, no. So instead they were like, all right, well, we'll just blatantly, openly be unoriginal and steal your shit anyway. This is like getting rejected by a twin and then turning directly to her twin sister and asking her out right in front of her. It's High class move. And so now, even though you've been rejected and publicly sued by Sister 1 for your lack of class and propriety, you've now steamed ahead with dating Sister 2 right in front of the whole class. So that's the Pitt, guys. A shamelessly unoriginal, unauthorized, blatantly obvious real-time sequel to yet another TV classic from the 90s. Hey writers, originality might not be explicitly stated in your job description there, but like it or not, it's part of your job. At the end of the day, possibly the saddest part of the Pitt is that it's out of sheer laziness. It's easier to steal than create. That's it. In case you didn't, easier to steal than create. While I don't agree with that logic, I at least understand it from a business and human nature perspective. What I cannot tolerate is the impact that it has on our culture. Might sound pretentious, so be it. If pop culture continues to recycle itself, soon we will have no pop culture. The content will have no content. Because it's just copies of a copy of a copy, which will inevitably turn out like Michael Keaton in Multiplicity. So, stop stealing. Stop being lazy. Insightful, I know, but I have to keep in mind who I'm talking to here. They don't seem to be getting the message, even while being sued.